Okay, this is the first time effort of testing my clip recorder with first time testing it, period. This is a standard definition camera on night shot. Don't have enough light out here for it to capture anything. The other way, I don't know how much or where this thing's going to be picking up my head, what have you. But anyway, this is old Sentry checking in. And tonight, this is April 12th, 2012, at approximately 10:30 p.m. Tonight, I'm going to try to get into some more walleye, or make a few casts anyway, unless I get froze out. Temperature is supposed to get down into the 30s tonight, at least about 31. But without further ado, I'll come in here and try to show the lure that I've been catching some fish on. And this is a lipless crankbait made by Strike King. And the color is called chartreuse baitfish. And it has proved to be quite productive for me. So, at any rate, let me see if I can get fishing here, get me some gloves on. My hands are already about to get frozen. And we'll make a few casts and see what happens. Stay tuned, stay with me. Now I want to say this. The way I've been fishing this lure, I've been fishing it pretty quick. A lot of rips in it and a lot of stop and go retrieve. And a lot of times it's just, or burning it I should say too. And that seems to produce some very good strikes and caught fish. And just to say this, I've caught a 4.5 pound walleye, a 7 pound, a 9 pound, and 2 8-pounds. Plus I've gotten a 15-inch smallmouth, 13-inch largemouth, about a 3-pound spot, and a 3.5 pound largemouth. So let's get at it. So as you can see, if you can hear me, with this big cigar in my mouth, I'm working this lure rapidly. Now too, I don't know, I don't like reeling with this cigar in my hand, but maybe so my speech won't be so impeded by the cigar. Working this thing. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. It was about the camera. Now I don't know how much condensation is going to get on that lens in this cold temperature, and me just bringing it out of the vehicle. Lost one. Goodness. I thought I'd hit this one spot where it hangs up a little bit, but that wasn't the case. This was a fish. That just after about the third cast. Yeah, it seems that the walleye have started moving up in here within well, for quite some time, but I didn't start getting into them myself until a little over a week ago, maybe almost 2 weeks. And started out, I got into bass first, and then I started picking up the walleye. And a friend of mine caught one up here, old Linkless. One night he and I was up here together, maybe 3 weeks or more before I started getting into them. But I've been up here almost every night for a month. I just missed a few nights being up here. fishing. So I'm dedicated when it comes. The old rod I'm using is from back in the 70s. Old Fenwick fiberglass. It was called the Fenwick Lunker Stick. I have two of them, and on one, which I've had in my possession all these years, caught many a fish on it. And I really prefer it. Well, it depends on what I'm doing, especially for crankbaits. I much prefer it as to many of these graphite rods and all, for its action and what have you, and its accuracy in casting. Well, that plug got fouled on itself. To show you what I'm talking about, and focus in enough, the hooks come back into the plug, and then that gives it a bad action as it comes through the water, and it will rise to the top. I will be curious to see how the camera does at this distance. May not be too bad for the night shot mode. And of course I do have these lights here giving more illumination, and I had hoped to be able to try to do it without the night shot, but looking through the viewfinder prior to recording, it seemed to me that it wasn't going to pick up that much at all. I really got to me just have one on there about that third cast, I think it was, and then to just roll him. I know you couldn't see it from the camera, the angle. I've got to get me a wide angle camera, and thinking about maybe that GoPro, but I'm gonna have to build a video light, something to attach to the camera, so we'll be able to view more and in color at you know, not too far a distance. You know, mostly what I do is night fish, and so I have to have something set up for that. And most cameras, unless you get into your, you know, real pro cameras that cost you well over $1,000, and some of them go up to who knows how much, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000, $12,000, and I can't afford to put that into it. But I think I will be able to eventually come up with something that will still give me color at night and not have to rely on this night shot, but I will have to have ample illumination to do so. But all this is still just a work in progress, and really now I'm thinking about all this as far as when Flathead season comes in. Because I mean, that's, those of you who've viewed my videos know that that's mostly what I do. That's my primary target, my favorite fish. I don't know how the focusing is going to be on the camera with this one. That's what I'll have to find out when I edit this and start viewing what's there and determine how well this camera will do. It does pretty good for a standard definition camcorder, but I mean, it's many, many years old now, and what I want is a flash-based memory so I can have files and piece them together rather than having to work, you know, off metal tape like what's on this one. Going to rip it now. Not a hook set, this is a rip. And I'll come back to a burn. Slow down. Yeah, thought I had one. No, that's That's what I hit on the bottom there so often. Got some junk on the lure. Fishing line. I think that got it. Oh, what I was going to say too about these rods, I'll never forget the advertisement. And I guess I fell sucker to it. But it said, "Do you fish for big fish in bad places?" And it says, "And sock it to them with a new Fenwick lunker stick." And I liked the looks of the picture that was on there and all. And I'd had Fenwicks anyway. When I came back from overseas, I wanted a good fly rod. So I ended up, fairly long story on this that I'll try not to drag it out too much, but I went looking for a bamboo fly rod. And this was in Massachusetts. That's where I was stationed when I came back. And so I was looking at them, and the salesman came over and asked me what I was looking for, and I told him. And he said, well, before you shell out that kind of money for a bamboo, he said, I want you to try this fiberglass rod. So he took me over, and here's these nice looking Fenwicks. And I picked one up and I fell in love with it. And it was about half the price of the bamboo. I think the bamboo back at that time, I was looking, I think it was made by Cortland, and it sold for, it's either $150, $175. And I got an 8.5 Fenwick fly rod then for $75. And I liked it so much, went out and bought a 7.5 foot one. And I stayed with Fenwick rods for years. They had a lifetime warranty, and I used that once, and they were as good as their word. But now Fenwick changed hands a lot, and this was when they were still based in California, and they really stood behind their products, and they made a quality product. And I think they may be starting to get back into it again. But what I want to say about this particular rod, now this one is a 6 foot spinning. And the other one I have is identical to it. And I bought it for my dad for either a Christmas, birthday present or something, along with the Mitchell 300, which was a top reel for many years. I mean, it's nothing today, as any of you anglers know. But before he died, he died March 17th, 2010. I asked him about the rod, how he had liked it when he had fished with it through the years. And he told me he had never used it. It had just gotten shuffled around, not really beat up, but you could tell it had had some beats and bangs here and there. But anyway, I've got 2 of them now. And I'm proud to have both of them, and that they're still basically antiques now, and still great rods. I'm gonna burn it. Burn it, burn it. Come on, fish. Bump the rock. Now what I'm fishing here is a wide flat. And beyond this flat, well, out on this flat too, there is an old road bed. And beyond that old road bed, and still with this flat, there's a channel. And it drops off into, on this upper end, I'm not sure exactly where I normally fish it out of the boat. Further down, it's between 35 and 40 feet deep. And it runs right up against the bank. And one of my best Flathead nights last year, as far as numbers, when I caught 5, if any of you have watched that video, it was in this area. And I mean, you can have your boat, I mean, the nose of it can be up against the bank, and the back end of your boat is still in 35, 40 feet of water. The front is too, basically. But these fish, I've seen them gather just on the edge of the drop. And now this flat ranges in depth from anywhere from about 5 to 7 feet to 17 feet. And it's just, when you catch it at the right time, when those fish are moving up, I mean, it can be a very productive play. Oh, there he is. There he is. Come on, baby. What is this? Small bass or walleye? Maybe you can hear him splashing. Maybe we can get this. Maybe. All right, there you have it. Little largemouth, easy keeping size. Keeping size is 12 inches on. And this one's a good 15, 16, I would say. Try to come in. Give the camera a chance to focus. Set my rod down over here a minute. While we get stuck, I mean, he inhaled it. Try to get a little closer. Give it time. So, that's a good little old bass for tonight. Like I say, I lost something on that third or fourth cast. But anyway, success. Now, trouble is, I got to get the hooks out of it. And my main pliers are in the back of the car here. So, let me see. Pardon me while I go around behind and move everything. I don't know if I'll get this out without damaging him or not. I hope this hatch don't hit the camera. No, it's going to be clear. Now normally, I mean, I've kept some fish this year because I didn't have many in the freezer. I wanted to get some, but normally I would release a fish if I wasn't wanting some, and I was going to release this one, but I don't know if you can tell and see the blood running down. That hook was so far down in him that he's not going to make it, so I will take him home and clean him. All right, we got him strung. Like I say, my fingers are freezing. Get me a cold drink to do, close my hatch. Guess I'll leave my grippers and pliers out on the front of the vehicle. Now I've got to relight my cigar. That's what makes all this possible. Of course, got a wind blowing a little bit now. Makes it pretty chilly. Try to get this thing lit. Part of my enjoyment in life is a good cigar. I think it's going to get lit. Well, need to check my plug. See how it is. Well, wrong rod. Let's get another cast or two in. Nose is certainly running tonight. These cold temperatures. I'm hoping too that this cold is not going to affect this recorder and that camera too much. There's another one. Oh, he's a good one. He's a good one. Oh, can you see that? Easy, baby. I only got 6-pound line on this thing. Now this is a good fish, or I've got him foul hooked one. I'll take him easy, let him stay out there and wear himself down. Get him in here around this riprap. He'll cut the line on me. He may be foul hooked. I didn't. Yeah, I believe he is. I think I got him hooked in the tail or in the body. What do we got? I think we got a easy, baby. I think we got a walleye on this one. And I'm gonna have to watch those teeth. I'll have to get him in the gills if I can get him up here right. Oh, he's hung in that fin, belly fin. I may lose him real quick. Oh, I know what I need to do. Get my grippers. Ah, there he went. Well, lost him. You've heard the commotion. He was about a 22-inch walleye. All that work. But he was foul hooked in the fin. I was trying to get the grippers in his mouth and couldn't get a good angle. And each time I'd touch him, well, my camera shut down. Crap. Stop.